Hey everyone, it's your friend Thinknoodles, and it's time for your favorite series, Ask Thinknoodles. Now, I have a bunch of questions left over from the week before, and I won't get to all of this week's questions again either, but keep asking the questions and I'll keep answering them. Alright, so let's start with the first question. And the first question is, who disliked this guy? And that's a good question. I had 2 dislikes on my last Ask Thinknoodles video. Show yourselves! The next question from Princess Luna is about an item that I said I would have in Pop Tropica last week. And she's right. She asked, why a hat for your item that would cover up your baldness? Do shoes. And you're right. That would have covered up my baldness, and that would have been a crime. So you're right. I've changed it. It's going to be shoes, and when you dance, you sit down and eat a bowl of noodles still, but it's shoes, not a hat. Angela1234567894 clarifies a question I answered last week about the featured tab. It is not only for partners. You can edit it on your own channel. Just go to edit channel. There's a little button when you pull up your own channel and you're logged in, and you can set it to display the featured tab. The next person asks if I know how to beat Puffalunch level 20. I think you mean in the iPhone app, and I do have it on my iPhone, but I've only completed like the first 2 levels, so I don't even know how to complete level 3, let alone level 20. Sorry. KAI67071 asks if I have a website and will I ever have one if I don't. I do have a website. I have a bunch of websites. That's why we're called the Insiders Network. This channel is a compilation of all of my insider websites. The one you would probably be most interested in is Club Penguin Insiders, and I'll leave a link in the description for you to visit. Dottie Jules asks, how do you make Pop Tropica fast when you're recording? When I even play without recording, I lag. And that's due to the speed of my computer, I think. I just bought a new computer less than 6 months ago, so I have a really fast computer with a fast video card, and that's what makes it fast. Christy Stacy asks, why don't you do a Let's Play? And I do Let's Plays. I do. Oops. I do Let's Plays. My Road to Captain Thinknoodles, although it's called a Road to Captain Thinknoodles, it's technically a Let's Play. And I also do it for Tale Towns, but I haven't done many episodes recently. And I'm thinking about doing one for Minecraft, but it's going to be really bad because I don't even know anything about Minecraft. Mickey Chan X3 asks, is your name Adam? Nope. Why? What made you think that? Sonatrol CP asks if I'm planning any new types of games I will record in the near future. At this time, not yet. I want to get through all of the Pop Tropica islands. All of the Pop Tropica walkthroughs have kept me really busy up to this point, and I don't see myself being able to pick up anything else at this time. The next 2 ask about Pop Tropica Lunar Colony, which is an island that's coming out within the next 2 weeks or so. Yes, I've heard of it, and yes, I'll be doing a walkthrough as soon as it comes out, and as soon as it's launched, I'm doing a Captain Thinknoodles as well. ViperKurt5 asks if I still go out for Halloween. And yes, I do, but in a different way than I used to. Living in New York, they have the annual Halloween parade. It's a really crazy parade where a lot of people dress up in, let's just say, interesting costumes, and I love to go and check it out. As far as trick-or-treating, I've actually never trick-or-treated here in New York City, and I'm not sure how people do it because most of us live in high-rise buildings, and it's hard to get into a building because you need to get past the desk or have a key to get in, and then go knock on people's apartment doors. I don't know how that would work, so I don't know how kids do it here. Super Minecraftian asks if I've ever been to Malaysia before. And yes, I have. I actually used to live in Southeast Asia when I was a kid, around when I was 10 years old until about 15. Benny asks if I like The Simpsons and American Dad. I like both, but I like The Simpsons better. Corey Rock 66 asks if I would rather work for Club Penguin or Pop Tropica. I think I'd rather work for Pop Tropica because I like playing the puzzles in Pop Tropica, and I think it would be even more fun to design the puzzles and make them really hard for people to figure out. Sudan Goons asks, how many countries have you been to and which ones were they? I've been to a lot of countries. Like I said, I used to live in Southeast Asia, so I've traveled a lot. It would take me a long time to name all of the countries I've been to, so instead, how about I name the continents I've been to? So I live in North America, I've visited South America, I've visited Africa, I've visited Europe, I've visited Asia, and I've visited Australia. The only continent I've never been to is Antarctica. Dance asks if I can draw or if I can draw anime, and I can't draw anything but stick figures, really. I'm I'm pretty good at... Whoa, did you guys hear that? We're having one heck of a rainstorm here in New York. I can't really draw much of anything other than stick figures. I'm pretty good at designing websites and things like that, but as far as putting pen on paper, I am awful. X Kaleidoscope X asks if I have seen the new Batman movie, and if so, did I like it? I actually haven't seen it yet, but I've heard great things about it. I just have to find 3 hours to go sit down and watch it. Club Penguin Cheatsy 1 asks what other job I do, and I don't do any other job other than maintain my websites and run my YouTube channel. Sig Kailua asks, did I like the Ultimate Jam or Music Jam? And I did like the Ultimate Jam. It was quite a good party, and I'm glad that they introduced a couple of new mascots for me to meet, so I was able to get new backgrounds and add them to my friends list and everything with CC and Rocky. I kind of wish there were more quest-related things, but overall, I think it was a good party, especially with the performances in the stadium with the good music. That was awesome. Gravity235 asks if I'm thinking about doing a Binding of Isaac Let's Play. And I have no idea what the Binding of Isaac is. Can you explain? CP Axel asks, how do I feel about Cadence's new song? What's my favorite Club Penguin dance? And am I planning to have guests in my videos? I actually like the song The Party Starts Now. I was telling Grazer the other day that I woke up in the morning and the song was stuck in my head and I couldn't get it out. So it's a good song. As far as my favorite Club Penguin dance, I really like the one, I think it's one of the EPF suits that when you dance it, you turn into like a recycling trash can. I think that's pretty cool. And I don't know, I hadn't really thought about having guests in my videos. It's really hard to coordinate the time, but if the time worked, I definitely would consider it. The next 2 people ask if I've heard of Penguin Storm. And yes, I have heard of Penguin Storm. I know what it is, and I have never used it. It's kind of like a CPPS to me, and I just don't really have any interest in such a thing. April Pink 4 asks, what do you do in your spare time? Well, to be honest, I wish I had spare time. When I do go out and walk my dog on a leisurely walk, I'll bring along a camera. I really enjoy photography. As far as sports, I try and do CrossFit about 4 to 5 times a week. And in the summer, I like to go scuba diving. And in the winter, I like to ski. Not snowboarding, because I'm terrible at snowboarding, but skiing on skis. Susie Mercado asks, when and what server did I meet Rocky and CC on? I met them in the middle of the day, and it was on a Portuguese server called Deu Branco, Deubrancco. And I recognize this name. This is Tiger Man from Club Penguin Insiders, and he asks, what programming language do you use for Club Penguin Insiders? That depends on what part of the site I'm writing for, but generally it's written in HTML, PHP, and JavaScript. There are really no other languages that we use other than a few of the Flash tools, which would then be written in ActionScript. TechBot Network asks, if you could make an internet game, what would it be called? I think what I'd do is I'd invent a word and then put something at the end, like Cyblox, the revenge of the bald noodle, or something like that. X Kaleidoscope X asks if I play World of Warcraft because he plays it. And I don't play World of Warcraft. That's one thing I won't play because I know what happens to people who play World of Warcraft. It sort of takes over your life, and I just don't have the time for that, and I can't get sucked into it because I know I will. So I just don't even bother trying to play because I'll just get sucked in and I'll never get anything done. Poonch CP asks what Mac model I have and did I upgrade to Mountain Lion. I have the top of the line iMac. That's the 3.4 gigahertz, 27 inch with 16 gigs of RAM and the solid state hard drive. I'm very, very happy with it. And yes, I did upgrade to Mountain Lion. The Joe Jose 123 asks if I'll make videos for Free Realms. I would make videos for Free Realms. I've just been so far away from the game for a while. I don't really know where to start. Send me a PM and let me know what you'd want me to make them about, and I'll see what I can do. The Hasham999 asks, your wife plays CP? No, she doesn't. Unless you think Grazer's my wife, and in that case, then she does. But then Grazer's not my wife, so don't forget, Grazer's not my wife. Ariel Branson Love asks, what is your Free Realms name? It's Cade Wolfspotter. Secondly, she asks, have you read the Hunger Games series, and which so was your favorite character? I know you guys might think this is weird, and maybe it has to do with my age, but I think that my favorite character is Haymitch, because he starts out in the first book, and by the way, spoiler for those who haven't read the Hunger Games series, you may want to press mute for the next minute or 30 seconds or so, but Haymitch starts out as a drunk and someone you look down on, And as the series progresses, you realize that Haymitch is much more than meets the eye. And the only reason he is the way he is because of what he went through in his quarter quell. And I like that we originally have a bad view of him, and over time, we grow to respect him just as they do. And I also think Woody Harrelson was a great actor for Haymitch. He did it perfectly. Third, you ask if I play Minecraft. No, I don't, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to. I plan to. Ghostbuster Mermaid asks how many game cards I have on Cardjitsu. I have about 20 or 25. I got just enough to get the Sensei card so I could get the stamp. Khalid 40867 asks if my dog is a girl, and that is an excellent guess. Yes, she is. Corey Rock 66 asks if you were to lend your voice for an animated series, which one would you choose, South Park or Family Guy? South Park. I would love to work with Matt and Trey, and South Park is one of my favorite animated series of all time. The weirdest costume I ever saw someone wear on Poptropica. I don't know about the weirdest, but I saw someone who had put a bunch of different things together to make themselves look like Harry Potter, and it looked pretty cool. Third, you ask which Olympian I prefer, Ryan Lochte or Michael Phelps. And I know Michael Phelps is the greatest Olympian ever, etc., etc. But the thing is, with Michael Phelps, at least in my opinion, he is genetically predisposed to be a good swimmer. He's got extra long arms, an extra long torso, big hands, big feet. So I feel like in this Olympics, he kind of got away with winning the medals without having to train as hard or with as much focus as he had in the past. And I feel like although Ryan Lochte didn't do nearly as well as Michael Phelps, I felt like he trained harder and was more focused. So I kind of like him a little bit better. Kelly Cooper 201 asks, do you like waffles, pancakes, or French toast? I like all three. But I'm with you. French toast is the best for breakfast. And I have to add, I had the best French toast of my life on Cape Cod. It was a banana split French toast. And what they did is they took everything that you would have in a banana split, except they put it on top of French toast. So it had whipped cream, strawberry sauce, hot fudge, pineapple sauce, cherries, bananas, nuts, and all that. And I didn't put any syrup because I can't imagine how much sweeter it could have made it. But I'm telling you, I left there happy Thinknoodles. So CP05 asks if I can rap for you because my favorite YouTuber's epic rap battles of history. Whoo, man. Well, you kind of got me on the spot there. I'll think about it. I have to watch some epic rap battles to get in the zone for it and get a beat and everything, and that's not going to happen in this video. I'm sorry. Matthew Stewart asks if I would rather have a blue poodle with rabies or an orange rabbit that is always hugging onto your leg nonstop. Well, I would imagine that orange rabbit wouldn't be just hugging my leg. You might want to insert a couple other letters in there and make it humping my leg. But then I'm not sure which is worse because rabies are pretty bad, and poodles, if it's a full-size poodle, that can be pretty big. I guess I'd have to go with the orange rabbit hugging my leg constantly. So CP Chick 1221 asks, hey, does candy make you wacky? If it does, what kind of makes you the wackiest? I tried to put it in your voice because the way you typed it with all the capitals, it seemed like you might have eaten some candy that made you wacky, and that's why you're typing that. So I don't eat much candy, but I remember when I was younger, I used to get those giant pixie sticks and eat them all at once. And I'm telling you, I would run around in circles, just like you probably. The giant pixie sticks used to make me wacky. So what would you rather do, jump down from a 100,000 story building or get crushed by tractors? And that one, super easy. Jump from a 100,000 story building. Here's why. If you get crushed by tractors, you're just going to be laying on the ground and they're going to run you over and it's going to suck and you're going to die. But if you jumped off a 100,000 story building, can you imagine the rush for at least the first 90,000 stories until you have to worry about the last 10,000 stories before you're about to die? I mean, at least right before you go, you'll have a bit of fun. Toon Boy asks, who's most epic and awesome? Toon Boy, or Toon Boy? This one's tough. I don't know what to do. Nobody's looking, right? Okay, I'm gonna cheat. It's Toon Boy. Yep. Nobody saw, right? All right. Mr. Gameboy asks, if you could change your name, what would you be called? And do you mean my real name or my Thinknoodles name? I actually like my real name now. When I was younger, it wasn't a very common name, so everybody used to call me Jason. So when I was younger, and if you had asked me that question, I probably would have said, oh, just change it to Jason. That's what everybody calls me anyway. But now I like it. I mean, Justin, it's a good name, and it's a lot more common than it used to be. Brandon Cunningham asks if I would rather be a toad stool or a frog chair. For some reason, I think frogs are cleaner than toads, so I'd rather be a chair for a frog than a stool for a toad. And also, the word stool just, well, in a medical setting, you know what stool means, so I'd rather be a chair. The next two people asked me if I like chicken. And I thought, how strange that two people would ask me that in the same video, you know? Yeah, I do like chicken. I actually like it a lot. I don't get to eat it very often because my wife doesn't eat chicken. So I only get to eat it when either one, she's not home, or two, we go out to dinner and they have some really good chicken on the menu. But usually I'll skip the chicken because most restaurants, chicken's a second option. The next person asks bald, or bald. Well, how about bald, but spelled with like 1, 3, 4, 7, D? You know? Bald, like big bald. Hemi CP asked me to answer these questions. What is the color of a mirror? So I started thinking about this one. I thought, silver? No, that's not right. Clear? No, that's not right. And white is not right either. And so I would have said no color, or only the color of what it's reflecting. And I know it's a philosophical question, but I looked it up on like a physics discussion forum, and here's the actual answer. This is largely a question about how you define color. If we say an object's intrinsic color is defined by the reflectivity of specular reflections across the frequency range of visible light, you would have to say a mirror is the same as a white wall. They both reflect all wavelengths equally and more than 95%, making them both white. The subtle meaning of the word is specular, the reflection that comes off the angle of incidence. Of course, a mirror has roughly 100% specular reflectivity and about 0% at any other angle. Shining a laser at a mirror in an otherwise dark room, the mirror will appear pitch black unless you're in the path of the reflected laser beam. A white wall, by contrast, scatters the light roughly equally at every angle. Of course, the real answer is that objects can have more complex reflective behavior and might even appear green from one angle and blue from another. To define color precisely, I suppose we would talk about the reflectivity parameterized not just by wavelength, but also by position on the sphere relative to the incident light. This is how reflective behavior of objects is often specified in a 3D rendering algorithm. Whew! Or you could just say, I have no idea. Then they ask, if anything is possible, is it possible for anything to be impossible? Well, if anything is possible, then it would be possible for something to be impossible, but then how could that be? Because everything is possible. This is circular. I'm going to go around this like a million times in a row, and it's just going to keep going back to the same beginning. I think I'll stop here. Kaleidoscope asks, if someone gave you $1 million to change your profession in college, what would it be? If someone gave me $1 million when I was in college to change my major, I would have probably chosen something in the liberal arts, something more creative than engineering, because as I've grown older, I've learned that I'm actually a creative person, and I didn't think so when I was younger. So if I had $1 million coming out of college, I might choose something in the arts that maybe wouldn't pay as well, because I wouldn't have to worry as much about coming out of college with loans and things like that, and I could just work where I wanted to and enjoy being creative. Mickey the Cool Hero asks, what would your wife think if you put a new title, Grazer is my wife? She'd probably laugh and say, good luck with that, dude. W13IGOS asks, how many times do you swear a day? Let me just put it this way. Do you know why it takes me 3 to 4 hours to do one of these videos? That's your answer. Modern Pengy asks, if you ever met Grazer in real life, what would your reaction be and what would you do with Grazer? First, I'd settle the debate whether Grazer is a boy and girl once and for all by videoing Grazer and uploading it to my channel as proof that Grazer is a boy or girl. Then, as Grazer well knows, I would grab his laptop, delete his channel, and forward all of his subs to my channel. Daniel O'Connell asks, if I were sent to a desert island and could only bring 3 things, what would they be? Well, one of them would be a waterproof, solar-powered satellite phone, so I could get off the island as soon as I wanted to. The second would be a box of ramen noodles, and the third would be a picture of my wife and my dog. I know it's sappy, but hey, I could only have 3 things, and you know, that's something I would want. Batty Nabs asks about a desert island as well and asks if I had to survive on one food besides noodles, what would it be? So I'll have to change that second one. And I'm not really big on rice, so that wouldn't be good. Well, we'll go back to an earlier question. Let's load it up with some French toast. Blazer19784 asks, did you ever get butt by a spider or bit by a spider? So are you asking if I got bit in the butt by a spider? JMichael3CP asks, what would you choose, a room full of dubstep chickens or a room full of squids? The squids cause damage and the chickens get the something out of you with the awful music. Well, I kind of like dubstep to a point, so I'd probably want to experiment with those dubstep chickens, actually. YoshiVidi asks, have your ears ever heart? Heart, not hurt. And I was like, wait, don't you mean hurt, not heart? But no, really wants to know if my ears have ever heart. I can't say that they have. Have yours? Zoo Tycooner asks, ponies or ponies? And you know what? I say ponies with a W.